Hello, welcome to camp. We have this awesome fire pit here, and in this video I'm going to go over my campfire cooking essentials. So these are the items and pieces of gear that I bring if I want to cook a meal over the campfire, and I'm going to take you along as I cook dinner tonight. Ooh, that looks good. Here we are. This is really my core gear for campfire cooking. Of course, we have some metal tongs. These are great for all sorts of things. You can move the fire with these, you can move your food with these, very versatile. And then along with that, we have a little spoon and a spatula. I don't really use a spoon as much. I can get by with pretty much just a spatula for a lot of things because I can flip things and I can mix things with this and the tongs. And then I have some fire resistant gloves or heat resistant gloves. They're nice because they cover your forearm and they protect your hands. So if there's little sparks and stuff that are coming out of the fire, or if you have to get kind of close to manipulate your food or the heat, these are really nice to protect your hands. And then we have a trusty cast iron pan. If there's one piece of gear that I think you should get, it is a cast iron pan. This thing, I cook with it every day at home, and I cook with it every day that I come camping, both on a camp stove and a campfire. So this one piece can be used in a lot of different scenarios. This is an antique one. I think I looked it up once. I think it's almost 100 years old, which is so cool. But a good cast iron pan with a good seasoning is just gonna last you an entire lifetime, and you can cook so many things on that. So it's a great thing to have. And then I also have this little towel. This one I can use as a pot holder because this is obviously gonna get really hot, but I also have my gloves for that. Or they can just be used as a rag to wipe your hands as you're cooking. So it's just really nice to have a few of these on hand as you're working around the campfire. And then we have a pot. Now, ideally you wanna get a pot with a lid just to give you a range of things that you can cook with it. As you can see, this one has been on the campfire a time or two, but this is really small. I use this a lot to boil water. And then I love this pot. I love the size of it, but it doesn't come with a lid. So I'm gonna actually use it tonight because I don't really need a lid, and I can take it off the heat and put a plate on it if I need to cover it. But if you just wanna get one pot, I would get one that's about this size if you can find one with a lid. And then the second to last thing I wanna talk about is the grill grate. I have two options. You definitely do not need two. This one is obviously a little bit bigger and bulkier, and then this one is really nice. I've had this one for a long time, but I love how compact this one is and how small this one is. So I think this one is easier to transport around, but this one is nice if you have a bigger group and you can grill a lot of things on here, or I can even put a pot on here and have a fire underneath and still be grilling some stuff over here. So, there's pros and cons, but I think something like this is just really nice and compact and great to have, because sometimes if you're dispersed camping, there is no grate or anything to grill on. And if you're at a campground, sometimes those grills are really gross. And so it's nice to have your own. That being said, mine is really dirty. Then lastly, I have a water jug, and it's always a good idea to have a big water jug right near your fire in case you need to put something out, or if you need water for your meal or whatever it is. I just like to have a nice big water jug right by the fire. Then of course, when you're done cooking and enjoying the fire, you need to put it out completely. So it's nice to have a big water jug for that. Now, this might seem like a lot of stuff, and you definitely don't need all of this stuff to get started, or even for every meal. It really does depend on what you want to cook. If you want a couple things to prioritize, I would say a grill grate to obviously cook your food on, and then probably a cast iron pan. Those are the two core pieces of gear that I think I use the most often around the campfire. I think we are finally ready to start cooking. I am really hungry, so let's get this going. I want to talk about the items and things you're going to need to actually get the fire going. So obviously we have a bunch of firewood here, and I have a lighter. And then you're gonna need some tinder or some newspaper or something that lights really easily to get those initial pieces of firewood going. And then I also have a hatchet. Now, I am not super skilled with the hatchet. In fact, Nick has a hatchet that he will not let me use, not because of any safety concerns, but because he doesn't want me to ruin his hatchet, so I had to go buy my own. But this is nice if you want to take some of those bigger pieces of firewood and crack them into smaller pieces, which is nice for getting the fire going, because obviously you're not going to put a huge log right there on your tinder. So a hatchet is just a nice small tool to have for that. For this dinner, I'm going to use my bigger grill grate because I'm cooking quite a bit of stuff. I have some big steaks and some veggies, and I just need space to cook with that. As you can see, I have to sort of work with the fire pit that's here and have it on here nice and sturdy. So this is going to be great. And I'm gonna actually build my fire underneath it. I don't need a big fire here, and it's a little bit easier for me to build the fire underneath it. That way I don't have to try to set this up over like a big hot fire. Dinner prep is underway, and we are not done yet because there are still a few items that are really fun to have for campfire cooking, but you definitely don't need these things. But it will just, allow you to cook a lot of different things. So first up, I have skewers, and tonight I'm doing just some simple veggie kebabs. This is a stainless steel skewer, so it's really easy to use and reusable. But you also could just do the bamboo skewers, but these do need to be soaked first. I just use a water bottle for that, by the way. So skewers are nice to have if you want to have kebabs. It just gives you a different meal to make around the campfire. So that's one thing. Another thing is, this should come as no surprise, a trusty Dutch oven. Now this is my favorite thing to cook with around the campfire. I have an entire digital course all about how to cook with a Dutch oven. So if you want to dive deep into Dutch oven cooking, I will link to my course below. Definitely check that out. It's a video-based course where I come outside and I show you all the ins and outs of cooking with a Dutch oven. And there are some additional items of gear that you're gonna need if you wanna get into that. The next thing I wanna mention is a pie iron. This is so much fun. You can do all sorts of things in here. One of the simplest things you can do is bring some pie dough and some pie filling and make little pie pockets with this thing. Super fun to have. The last thing that you might wanna consider are some s'mores sticks. Since I've been a kid, I've always just used sticks that are on the ground around here to roast my marshmallow, but you can use actual s'mores sticks that are reusable, and usually they're stainless steel and they extend so you can keep yourself away from the fire, so that's an option as well. But these things really are definitely not essentials, but they're just fun to have and something to kind of keep in the back of your head if you want to experiment with some other campfire cooking. Look at this. I'm so pumped to dive into it. I hope you enjoyed seeing how I use some of the gear that we talked about. Campfire cooking is such a joy for me. It really is fun and delicious and really cool, the things that you can make. So hopefully this list of essentials was helpful for you. If it was, make sure to give this video a like. Subscribe to the channel for tons more camping videos, and check the description below for links and resources to all the things that I mentioned in the video.